Good morning, everyone. It's Andrew O'Donnell from Supercharged Stocks. I'm pleased to have Roger Rosmus, who's the president and CEO of Goliath Resources. Real excited to have you here today because we have big news release out. And it did get attention, but I think maybe people didn't understand, or maybe the potential of what's there, or the scope of what this is certainly indicating. But I mean, the highlights to this, if people haven't seen this, is that it's 14.11 grams per ton gold, or 10 meters of true width at your Surebet discovery up in the Golden Triangle, 1,000-meter strike with a 500-meter relief. Let's walk through that because there's a lot to unpack there, and there's a lot I think that people have seen, but also maybe missing out on.
Sure, I mean, I think it's a common thing that people maybe not connect. They think maybe in one-dimensional. If you're taking a channel cut off of flat ground and you've got maybe some length and a little bit of width to it, you've only got a few dimensions. But what we have here, because we do have that 1 kilometer of exposed structure at surface, we know it is at least 500 meters in height. And now we've got the extra dimension now where we know an average width overall. Certainly the best intercept we had was just over that 10 meter channel. But ultimately, on average, we were just about 9.3 meters wide. And now that gives us the extra dimension where you can actually do the math and say, okay, potentially, if this thing runs the same average width, same average grade of, what do we got, just over almost 10.7 of gold equivalent, or in gold terms is actually quite substantial. It's about almost 7.6 grams gold straight up. So, I mean, you could easily do the math now that we've, again, have these this additional dimension where we actually sampled the top of the mountain, a quarter way down the mountain, halfway down the mountain, bottom of the mountain. So we feel quite confident that we've got a very good understanding of the dissemination of the mineralization in the area, plus an average width of these zones. Not to mention, people may not have picked up on this, but these high-grade zones sit within a halo of highly silicified Hazelton sedimentary rock, up to 43 meters wide, which also is mineralized. So we're not even talking about those numbers when we're talking about our average grades, average width. So essentially, in layman terms, the wall rock on either side is mineralized of Hazelton sedimentary, okay? In addition to, folks want to look at the 3D model that we have up on our YouTube channel. I mean, we know this structure goes up for 1 kilometer, exposed at surface, crests the peak, goes down the other side, down to the other valley. And did we test the other side on channels? No, because it's too steep. But what we did do back in 2019, we did take a grab sample out of there. And that grab sample ran almost 41 grams per ton gold equivalent. And in gold terms, about 21 grams per ton gold. And the silver was 340 grams per ton silver. So it's the same structure. We have mineralization all up one side. Dollars to donuts, there's mineralization down the other side. We don't know that for a fact, but we do know there was a grab sample taken in 2019 that ran, over an ounce gold and multi-ounce silver. So, what does that all mean? We think this thing is way deeper and longer in relation to the strike, as well as the depth of this thing. So this is just the tip of the iceberg. So again, if you quickly do the math, folks can do that at home, but there's a very good case for potential of a lot of gold and potentially a significant discovery in the Golden Triangle and perhaps in Canada. Also in the news today, people might have missed the fact that we did find an angular piece of float which came off of the cliff zone, which is at the lowest part of the structure. That was being angular. Clearly, it hasn't traveled too far because it is still angled. So that gives us indication that we believe it came off the cliff zone, and that ran. It's mind-boggling. Actually, 29 0.7 ounces of gold and 97.19 ounces of silver. So obviously this is one of our key, target areas for when we're going to be drilling this next year. So back to this whole channel cutting, in my opinion, and a lot of other professionals in the space believe that, this is a horizontal drill hole in relation to,
Yeah, I like that analogy because one could certainly take that opinion and see, and we'll have the graph up here. You can see all these horizontal channel cuts all along the way. If someone wants to go do some of the math, you can kind of get a bulk tonnage rate. I want to be careful because this is on its own, even just looking without even doing that bulk tonnage and thinking, oh, wow, this indication is pretty huge. This is dynamic and exciting regardless, because we're coming up to spring very quickly. It's a good location as far as if you were actually literally plant something there. So it's got a lot of factors that are very big plus, never mind the fact of these incredible numbers to draw upon and to build a case upon. And this is really, once again, I'm trying to be conservative here. These are big, big numbers in a very great location.
Yeah, well, of course, we've got the, just being southeast of Stewart, southeast of Stewart. We're right next to the Orange Homestake Ridge deposit, which is about 8 kilometers to the northeast of us. We've got good infrastructure, 7 kilometers to the Dolly Varden access road, which we'll be, mobilizing from as sort of as a loading point in the in next year's program. So, we're in the right part of the triangle. We're within 2 kilometers of the red line, which is conformity between the Hazelton and Stahina group. All the big deposits have been found, and it's a known fact within 2 kilometers of either side of this red line, and we are basically almost on top of the bloody thing. So we're very, very excited about it, and we're very happy. I'm very happy with the results. Actually, it way exceeded my expectations. I was thinking a much lower grade and much skinnier structure as far as the highly mineralized, but I'm blown away. And I think as investors do their due diligence, talk to a geologist friend and pass along and say, what do you think? Like, is this spectacular? Is this unique?
Here's the one thing I can say with absolute certainty. For what you have today, I think it's going to take the market a bit of time to figure out and go, wait a second, even if you cut that in half, what you've put out, that's still big numbers that we've seen in the last year. These are big numbers. I think people really have to conceptualize this and go, hold on, this is really exciting. It's what we want. We want it right in our backyard here, near infrastructure, in BC friendly area. I think you're going to be running into this next upcoming season, being able to raise some good money to drill a lot of holes. And you're going to have a lot of people that are going to be quite excited about what this is indicating, because there's not a lot of projects out there that have this size and scale and scope. It's what people are really looking for up there.
Yeah, well, right now we just went through the 15-to-1 consolidation earlier this year. We've got a very tight structure at the moment, only 28 million shares out, fully diluted. We're about 56. So we've got a lot of warrant money, a lot of warrants that are in the money. So my tack is I would like to, avoid any sort of financing, any additional dilution. Okay. And, I have spoken to a number of larger warrant holders who have said that they would exercise the warrants. So if we can avoid the financing, then, we'll definitely avoid it. We want to keep it nice and tight. And, whatever we end up with, that's we'll deploy and make the best of it, pick our best targets and roll those off. And assuming, and I'm quite confident that we will hit based on what we're seeing there and what the guys think. It's a very controlled system, shear zone. It's all mapped. We've got some bulletproof targets for next year, and I'm confident that they're going to, continue to add on to what we already know in relation to this particular area of the world.
Excellent. Well, like I said, it was big news today. The stock had a bounce and a push but I think there's more to come because I think people are just kind of getting their head really wrapped around it. I'm happy to get this out and let people know,
Appreciate it.
listen, if this isn't on your radar, it really should be, because this is kind of what we're wanting to see up there.
Perfect. Well, thanks so much for having me, Andrew.